Well, I certainly want a powerful U.S. military, a capable one, because we are the last bastion, the last guardians of freedom. However, I want it coherent. I want it responsible to the taxpayer. I want systems that the troops can really use. And I agree with many of the points Bob made. For instance, the F-22 was supposed to cure cancer, $350 million each. We've had it for 10 years. As near as I can tell, it has never flown a single combat mission to engage an enemy. We've got carriers that are wonderful tools for showing the force. They couldn't survive in a war with China.
Colonel, let me ask you this question. Because the Pentagon, and I refer back to the New York Times from today, they assume more risk now. They acknowledge that meant more of these troops would die. And then Chuck Hagel said the following, that it means that we're entering an area where American dominance in the seas, in the sky, in space can no longer be taken for granted. Why do I interpret that to mean if we're not going to be the dominant military force on the face of the earth, isn't there going to be some other country, likely not as friendly to freedom, that fills that void?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't necessarily like it, but to an extent we are the world's policemen. We have to pick which marital spats we get in the middle of, but we need a global capability. And by the way, even though I'm here saying the Army is going to be too small, we're going to cut troops we really need, the best trained troops we've ever had in our history, I'm nonetheless a believer that this is primarily a maritime nation. Yeah. 400 years ago, Sir Walter Raleigh said, "He who controls the oceans controls the world." In a war with China, and that's a big elephant in the room that nobody will talk about, that's what Hagel is talking around. If you have to fight China, the only way to fight it is control the seas. Yeah. And our Navy won't be able to do that.
You know,